Good evening. We're going to split this into two, so we'll take questions on obviously today's game first, and then we'll then have an embargoed section for the cup tie on Wednesday, which will be 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. We want to start us off on Horse Liverpool. Damien Spellman.
Matthias, you must have very mixed feelings after such a thrilling game.
First of all, hello everyone. It was indeed a game with mixed feelings, especially in the end when you get a decision who took 2 points away. It's really hard to digest. But overall, there's also a lot of confidence, and somehow we are really proud of what we saw throughout the 90 minutes. The young lads were doing an amazing job with all the challenges in that transition period. I'm not tired of mentioning that because this was special. That was already delivering on a high level, and that makes us proud.
Thank you. Jordan, back.
Was that performance today everything you want from your Newcastle United team?
It was already a lot to what we want to see. Therefore, what I said, we're really proud in that short amount of time to see lads as a unit on a pitch, really committed to what they're doing, and this is a really good base to build on.
What was your thoughts on the late penalty?
Pardon?
Your thoughts on the late penalty?
I have clear thoughts. Probably you saw that in my reaction. For me, it's a really soft penalty, as you call it here, I guess. So if you give these penalties, then you need to give a lot throughout the match and a lot throughout the season. And I don't know if this is for good of football.
Thank you. I'll go to Craig and then Lee and Ian, please. Craig?
Hi, Matt. In terms of individual players, you touched on some of the younger ones. What are the older players? Yoane Wissa, he had the nightmare first season. Today he looked like an unrecognisable player from that. Can you talk to us about him and how you sort of brought him to that challenge?
Amazing performance. Amazing performance, even though he could have killed the game. But you know, this is football. When I talk about Wiss, it's not just if he scores or making an assist. It's about how he's committed, how he's working for the teammates, and it's not only Wiss. There are many other lads today I can mention. Again, this is the basic. This should be the fundament for Newcastle United. And I mentioned that in the pre-match conference already, that if you have this synergy between the fans and then the players delivering on the pitch, then something special can be created.
Thank you. Lee? To your left.
Matthias, could you give us some insight on what Joe Willock has been like for you as a player since you've been here? There's been a lot of talk on his future, but today he showed why he's a Newcastle United player.
Yeah, it was Joe like we wished to see him, right? He showed that already in the preseason, in these 3 weeks now, that he has this potential. And today I'm so happy that he stepped on the pitch when it was needed, and he showed that straight away. Pure commitment again from him. We can go through the whole squad today, and that's so important. Not only the starting 11 players, also the non-starters, that they have that commitment. If they need it, if they come in, that they deliver. So I'm really proud.
And is Joe Willock somebody you would like to keep?
Sure, with these performances, definitely.
Ian?
Matthias, you appointed Dan Burn as your captain for the season and Joelinton as your vice captain. You've lost them both for injury. Did you see today other leaders emerge?
Sorry, I need to ask again because I didn't get it in the end.
Did you were without your captain
Yes.
and vice captain, but you had other players who looked like real leaders.
Yes. First of all, it's tough if you miss then the two captains. Hopefully they come back as soon as possible. But that was what we said also, right? Then there's a vacuum where other players need to step in, and this is amazing. Young lads, taking responsibility. Top, really top. It's something special for the start. I'm really proud.
A few more to get through, so we'll go for single questions if that's okay, please. We'll start with Charlie, go Keith, and then Daniel, please.
Hi, Matthias. This time last week, Amar Dedić wasn't even a Newcastle player. What was your message to him today before throwing him into such a big game? And obviously he played well as well.
And the good part was that he knew our identity. He knew already beforehand how we want to play football. And he's a player fitting to that style, so it was easy for him to adapt. But also I have to say, chapeau, how fast he adapted. And in the Premier League, played 90 minutes against a tough opponent. So I'm really happy.
Thanks, Charlie. Keith?
Matthias, you spoke in the build-up about your excitement ahead of the game, the debut. I wonder, firstly, how you slept last night ahead of the game, and secondly, how you found that atmosphere today when it kicked off.
I slept really good, thanks. But there was excitement as well, and this is important also for a coach, for players, that they're desperate to go on the pitch, to be on the sideline, and that was the case today. I couldn't wait for the start. Then, if you go out through the tunnel, special atmosphere, goosebumps. So I consider that really as a huge privilege, being coach of Newcastle United.
Thank you. Daniel, Chris, and then Scott, please. Daniel?
Matthias, we saw plenty of long balls from Newcastle from deep-lying positions from defence and Malik Child, Blues body. Is that evidence of vertical football, as you've described so far?
It is a part of the element. Football is a complex sport. It's always also related to what the opponent is giving you. And today that was the approach. Can be a bit different in the next one.
Thank you. Chris?
Can I ask about the injuries to Dan Burn? What's the timescale for him, please? And also, Will Osula, is that an injury that you think will keep him out for a period?
Yeah, with Dan, it's clear that he will be out for a couple of weeks. How long exactly, that will be decided. But for sure, our medical department is excellent, so he will be as fast as possible back again on the grass. And with Will, we need to see. It's hopefully not that serious, that he is back as soon as possible as well. For now, it looks quite good, but we need to see and check him.
Thank you, Chris. I'll go to Scott, Mark, and Kieran, please. Scott?
Just on Will, he gives you so much when he plays up there. You don't really have a like-for-like replacement when he's not available. Yoane went up and did really well, but then you kind of lose what Yoane was giving you in his other position. Is that something you're maybe going to have to think about? Because he seems to be playing a very specialist role for you, Will.
That's right. And I thought about that.
So we will see.
We see. 7 days left, I think, approximately.
Thanks, Scott. Mark?
Lewis Miley was excellent today. He's a player that, when some of the players that we lost this summer, the club always thought he'd have a big role this summer. How important is he going to be for you this season, and what did you make of his performance today?
I'm a big fan, not putting too much pressure on him. But honestly, coming from a long injury back with a really short preseason and showing that now in the first match is something special. And I'm just, proud to be a part of his development now, because hopefully we have a player with a really bright future.
Kieran?
What was your message to the players after the game?
Cannot repeat everything, because then I could get in trouble and may need to pay some fines. But overall, I told them that I'm really, really proud for what I saw over 90 minutes, that this is a really, really top starting point, a fundament where we can build on this commitment, this activity in all phases, intensity in all phases. We were there for each other if something went wrong. We acted really like a unit, and this in such a short amount of time, that's a top starting point. And the frustration was there as well, but these are the challenges we had now in the preseason. With that transition phase, it's normal. And today someone, threw some stones in the way, and we need to take that out to be successful again.
Thank you. Dom, did you have a question before we finish?
Yeah, Matthias, really impressive performance from your side today. Obviously, still early stages. If supporters were to watch your team at the end of this season, what would you be hoping would be different from what we saw today and what impressed?
Again, it's really nice. Therefore, we are also happy here, right? Even though we draw in the end, but we saw already so many good things. Really, I think the fans, they can identify the team with their expectations, the way how we wanna play, and this is already like a high standard, and we wanna improve on that. The players who played today, they were young. Many of them unexperienced in the Premier League, so they will improve, they will adapt even better. So that's the way.
Okay, concludes the post-match section. Ahead of West Brom on Wednesday, just to repeat, 6